Hyrox Brisbane race recap is here, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome. I'm going to talk about the lead up to Brisbane, then I'll talk about race weekend, the race itself, and then I'll give my thoughts and feelings as a closing statement. Lead up to the race, so after Auckland, I kind of just got straight back on the horse and jumped straight back into my training, which was the plan. I took the week after Auckland with like no intensity, or tried to keep intensity to a minimum, because something I figured out through all my years of training and racing and getting sick and stuff like that is the danger zone. If you add intensity in too early, intensity is the killer, because if you've got a bug that's hiding in there somewhere and you get back to intense workouts too soon, your body doesn't have the energy to A, recover from the race on the weekend, B, recover from the intensity you're doing, and C, recover from the bug or fight the bug that's there. So lately, I come away from races and I try and keep the intensity low and just chill out. I still hit heavy weights, I still do conditioning sessions, I'll still run, but I'll keep the intensity really low. And that's kind of what I've done this week, as well as what I did straight after Auckland. In terms of training, 18-hour weeks, basically all the way there. Race week, I dialed my training right back. I think I did 14 hours. That was the plan. I felt pretty tired those last 2 weeks of the 18-hour weeks. So I think my volume was just high for a long time and I was kind of in need of a break. So I decided to dial my training back and kind of gently taper into Brisbane. And I was feeling fit, so no harm in a little taper. Still kept my weights there, still hit all my key sessions with the intensity that I needed to. I just dropped off all that extra light zone 2 stuff that I didn't necessarily need to do. For example, knocked off my 3-4 hour ride, didn't really need to do a ride that long, just kept it at 90 minutes. So that rode me all the way to race week basically, and I was feeling pretty good going into it. My heart rate was sitting real low all week, my resting heart rate. Then kind of getting up there was a bit of a kerfuffle. We missed our flight flying out of Melbourne. If you follow along with my vlog series on Instagram, you would know that, but we missed our flight. Apparently Virgin don't let you on if you're there 10 minutes before boarding. You have to be there a little bit earlier than 10 minutes. Because if you're 10 seconds late, the doors are shut and you're not getting on the flight. So we found that out the hard way, didn't let us on. So we had to book later flights, which was okay. We just had to spend a little more money than we wanted to. So we got there Friday night, Uber Eats dinner, and then a pretty good sleep actually. Tried to just sleep as far as I could to Saturday. And then Saturday was a pretty standard race day. I'd like to go to the venue, have a little sus, check in, and then tried to just avoid it as much as possible. It was very overstimulating. I found that this time, lots of people, lots of noise, lots of music, and it's like a lot. So I tried to avoid being in the venue as much as possible. In saying that, I still spent a bit of time there. I just made sure that it was in little doses, and when we came out, it was like straight home, food, chill out. Good to catch up with a few people, race weekend as well. I love seeing everyone there. It's so much fun. A few people came up and said hi, which is nice. I just love it. I love the vibes. Hyrox vibes are always good. Anyway, Saturday was pretty standard. I'm not going to bore you with the details. I was stressing hard, to be fair, because I found out the Wednesday of race week that I was going to be in the first wave, which the wave Hunter was racing in, and a few other big names, lots of fast guys in there. And that's such an exciting experience, and I was excited about it, but I was also stressing because my main goal coming into this race was to race my own race like I did in Auckland, and that obviously worked out really well for me. My goal coming into this race was to just race my race, not get sucked in, and I was like, it's going to be so much harder not getting sucked in to try and race or beat people that I know of and know. And I was a bit worried about it, to be honest. I did a lot of work with it with my psychologist on the Friday before the race, and race day, that was on my mind. It was there. It was massively on my mind. So I did my tapping again, the same tapping I did pre-Auckland. Sat there for like 40 minutes with some meditation music playing and just tapped in the sun. It was actually really nice, but I felt it. It wasn't like I was just doing it for the sake of doing it. Like, I felt it, and I'm not saying that was the reason the race ended up going the way it went, but I think it played a part, because rocking up there the night of the race, I felt kind of calm, which was a nice feeling. In terms of food and stuff, pretty standard, just carbs, basically. Carbs, protein, simple stuff like rice, tofu, toast. Love Vegemite on toast. That's like a staple for me. So had all of that stuff in the lead up to the race Saturday afternoon, or Saturday evening, because we were on at like 7:30, which ended up being 7:50 with the delays. But got to the venue, race night, and met the videographer I had for the night, Caitlin, which was lovely, and gave her a quick squiz around the venue, and then kind of started getting ready, which I was like, I'd heard rumors that we were going to get pushed back 20 minutes, but I wasn't 100% sure. So got ready for the 7:30 start, and then 7:30 came around and they were like, nah, there's delays. We're going to push you guys back 20 minutes, which was fine. It just meant, okay, cool. Like settle for a bit longer. This is going to get pushed out a bit. Blah, 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 blah. Warmed up, got to the race. In the start tent, it was scary. It was intimidating. There were big people, big names. Everyone was fucking quick. Everyone was ready to go everywhere, and it was intimidating. But I tried to just tell myself to race my race, and I couldn't tell how I was going to feel until I was out there in the race. You never really know. You never know how it's going to feel and how it's going to go until you start. So it started, and everyone went out so fucking hot. I'm usually pretty good when it comes to like the run ski run at the start, but not this one. That's a lie, actually. I usually come into the skis pretty late and pick up a bit of time on the skis, but these guys went out so hot. I got to the ski and I was like in the second row of skis, which worked out really well because Caitlin got a really good spot like right next to me. Skied how I normally ski. I don't touch the damper. I leave it on a 7, and I skied anywhere from a 143 to a 145, and that's comfy for me. Like I could overextend and try and hold on to a 140, but 143, 145, I'm controlling my breathing. My heart rate doesn't get too jacked up, and it actually feels quite comfortable. So that's where I'm sitting at the moment with that pacing. Came off that, hit a pretty solid run after that, got into the sleds, and the sleds felt pretty heavy, to be honest. They like low-key rattled me a little bit. I went to push it and I was like, it moved fine, but it just felt harder than it normally does. So I tried to be conscious of pushing too fast and not taking enough breaks in there because I didn't want to blow my legs out, which I did. And then I kind of, muscled through that. And then we get to the run after that. Maybe I'll get my stats actually. All right, I got my stats in front of me. So my first run was a 2:08, which is very short. The course was short. So let's ignore that. Then my ski was a 3:45, which I'm stoked with. That's kind of where I like to sit with that one. The next run after that was a 3:45, which again, a little bit quicker than I normally put up, but I felt pretty good. The sled was a 2:41, so that's slower. It's about 10, 20 seconds slower than what I normally do. So I either ran too hard or it was just heavy on the day. Still happy with how that panned out because my run off that was a 3:58, which is kind of where I want it to be. Anything in the 350s, I'm stoked with. Coming into the pool, when I grabbed the rope to start the pool, I laughed audibly. I wish I had a microphone on me because I grabbed it and leant back and it just moved like it was on skates, and I just laughed because I haven't pulled 150 kilos in training on a sled. Like since before Melbourne, I've just been pulling 180, 170 kilos every time. I try and load the sleds up so they're heavy and then I go with that. I never pull race weight basically. So it was nice to get in there and it feel light. I came out with a 321 on that one, which put me 4th overall, which was cool. I was 8th overall on the ski. Then the run after that was 4:02, which is a little bit slower than I want, but still pretty good. Like it's within range. Then my burpees, 3:23, a little bit slower than what I'm typically used to. I don't want to blow up in the burpees, so I tried to find my pace and stick to it, and I think I did. I was happy with that. There was up, back, and I reckon walking in those little like turnaround points are what slowed me down because you just take that extra rest. Whereas if it was on a straight line, I reckon I would have kept burping. Either way, they were hard, but they felt really good. After that, it was a 4:12, which always happens after burpees. They get me, they hurt. I'm a big boy, so that kind of sucked, but not as bad. Didn't blow out as bad as it did in Auckland, which is great. Onto the row. Row felt great. I think I can hit the row a little harder. I kept the damper at a 7 and I was rowing just under a 150 and it felt fantastic. So I think I can try and push the pace a little bit more on there, especially because I came off and I ran a 4:04. So that was probably one of my quicker runs. Coming into the farmer's carry, pretty standard, a 138, which is kind of where I am. I think that's something I need to start training, is running with kettlebells or getting used to running a bit faster with those kettlebells, because I believe I can pick up time there. Hanging on to them is not the problem, it's the running with them. And I think if I build up strength in that, I can pick up time there. So happy with that. Run off it was pretty standard. Then into the lunges, I'm stoked with my lunges. I lunged in a 334 or something, which I've been stuck at 352 for ages. So to lunge in the 330s, I was over the moon. Didn't know that till after the race, mind you, but I was over the moon. Came out of the lunges. I actually overtook a few people in the lunges, which was cool. And then last run into the wall balls. Wall balls, this is where it kind of gets real for me, right? So throughout the race, I could hear my name getting called over the announcer, from the announcer. I was sitting in 4th or 5th for majority. Probably after the sled pull, I was kind of sitting in 4th, 5th, and it was just teetering back and forth. And I think I got into the wall balls. So Hunter had already finished. He did 55. Then it was Ricky Garrard and Chris Woolley, and then me on the wall balls. And I got in there, picked it up, and I was like, all right, let's just go as many as we can. My game plan usually with the wall balls is try and get 60 plus and then finish off. So I was like, I'd like 100, but I'm going to see where I'm at. Did 70. I ended up catching Chris Woolley when he was around 48. I had done like 50 and I just kind of kept going. I got within 5 reps of Ricky and then he finished, which was probably like 30 seconds ahead of me. And then I came through after that. And when I crossed the line, it was such a bizarre feeling because at that moment in that wave, the wave that I was intimidated by, scared of, I finished third. It was Hunter, Ricky, then me. And it was almost like I couldn't accept it. I felt like I didn't deserve it. I felt like I didn't belong. It was bizarre because I remember going into that wave and looking around at that start tent and seeing those people and thinking, this is fucked. How am I in this situation? How am I racing these guys? And I ended up coming out in third of all of those people, which just shook me. I finished in an hour, 1 minute and 5 seconds. So a 2-minute PB as well, which was phenomenal. I can't. I'm still coming to grips with it. I spoke with my psychologist about it today as to why that might have been the case. And she reckons it's because when I was younger, every time I got something good or every time I wanted something good like this, right? I wanted to be on that stage. I wanted to finish in third. I wanted it. I want to be good at Hyrox because it's my sport. But every time I wanted something good when I was younger, I wouldn't get it or it would get taken away from me. I'd get it a little bit and then it would get taken back. And I think deep down, that's the belief I have is that if I want this really badly, I'm not going to get it because that never happens. But it's not the case necessarily because I work really hard for this. So I deserve to be up on that stage with those people. I deserve to be running in the times that I'm running in because I put so much time and effort into these races. And it feels like I feel it so much. I just can't believe it. I'm shook. I'm absolutely shook. So to finish out of that wave in third place, in the end, I ended up finishing 7th overall and 4th for my age group, which is crazy. There are some fast people out there and it's exciting. It's exciting because it's a race, right? It's a race now. It's not just show up, blah, blah, blah. You got to be on your game and you're going to have to be on your game to be up there with those guys. So it's exciting. In terms of how this week has gone, again, no intensity in my training, just knock that right out and just trying to chill out a bit, try and tick off certain things in other aspects of my life. One of them is online coaching. I've launched that. It's been exciting. I'm trying to work on a few YouTube videos as well, this being one of them. And just trying to tick off some life admin stuff as well as just relaxing because, putting up 18 hours a week is time consuming, obviously. So it's nice to kind of not have to do that now. But yeah, in terms of my final thoughts on the weekend is I honestly can't believe how that felt. And I'm so grateful I get to be a part of it. I can say that I am one of the better Hyrox athletes in Australia, which is crazy to me. I never thought that I'd get to this point, but I am. I'm here. I've done the work and I'm sitting here talking to you guys as one of the better Hyrox athletes in Australia, and it feels surreal. Anyway, that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed another recap. I don't know why I'm saluting. I shouldn't be doing that. Next recap, I suppose, will be Hyrox World Champs after Chicago, baby. Woo! I'll see you guys in the next YouTube video, which will be my gym build. It's not getting built, but I'm bringing some new equipment into my gym and fitting it out so that I can train better for Hyrox. So see you for the gym build, ladies and gentlemen. Peace out.